Hello everyone and welcome to Casual Tech Review. It's been a little while since I've posted a video about PC flipping proper. My last couple of videos have kind of been how-to guides and getting started in flipping and that sort of thing, but I wanted to get it back to my specific efforts buying PC parts and flipping them for profit on the internet. Much like many other YouTubers who have channels about flipping PCs, it has been really slow. Computer sales in the last 6 weeks, although in fairness, one of those computers actually sold twice, so I guess you could say 3 sales, but it's been really, really slow. So what I want to do is just talk a little bit about those 2 sales that I've had and how my local market is looking now. And additionally, I want to ask you guys for some feedback on my next flipping project. I'm going to do a little bit of a head-to-head matchup between 2 builds. So stay tuned, watch till the end so you can give me your input on exactly what you want to see. My local market has been really slow with trying to move gaming PCs. As you can see here, it is heavily oversaturated with people selling computers like mine, focusing on nice aesthetics and nice quality parts. And plenty of them like this one here, and this is a different guy than I talked about in my last video about PC aesthetics. This is another guy who uses parts that I would not consider using, like low quality power supplies, poor cable management, and oddly mismatched GPUs and CPUs, in addition to prices that I'm just not even sure how they're making a profit. For instance, take a look at this PC here. We've got a Ryzen 5 5500, an A520 motherboard, 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, 500 gigabyte NVMe drive, and a 1080 Ti 600 watt power supply, and activated Windows 10. Looking at this build, number one, he puts no details as to what the motherboard is, the RAM specs, anything like that in his description. That GPU looks like it needs a GPU support. That thing is sagging. Eventually, it's going to cause a failure. He's got a small NVMe drive in there, 500 gigabytes. A very nice graphics card. Those are still fairly expensive. Those are $180, $200 to pick up one of those. And he's got it all listed for $500. I just don't even see how he's making any profit on this. But this is the kind of build that I have to compete with. And as I've considered sellers like this who put in the bare minimum effort, or what appears to be the bare minimum effort with their builds, using subpar power supplies and things like that, as well as just cranking out tons of builds, probably not making more than $50 a pop. I've thought very hard about what my strategy is going to be. Am I really willing to sink to that level and put PCs together that just don't seem to make a lot of sense to someone who actually knows about PCs? And I decided I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, make quality PCs, focus on using good parts, good quality power supplies, nice cable extensions, good cable management, all in really attractive cases. But I am going to make a few changes. Number one, I'm going to start explaining where the value of my builds comes in my ads. I don't know exactly what I'm going to say. I'm not trying to throw shade on anyone else, but I am going to need to articulate, hey, my build may have similar specs to other computers out there. Here's why it's a little bit more money. The time and attention paid to picking out the right parts, time spent on cable management, including the little extras like GPU supports and things like that, so that your casual person reading through the description will understand what their money's getting them. I think you have to sell it like that. The second thing that I'm going to do, in addition to trying to spice up my ad descriptions a little bit, is I think I want to dabble a little bit more in a slightly higher price range. Initially, I've been focusing very heavily on the $500 to $700 price range, but that is where a lot of the ridiculous competition is coming in with the PCs that I just don't care for, and it's fine. I'm not upset about it. It's just not how I prefer to put my PCs together for the best quality for the customer. So I think I'm going to try to focus a little bit more between the $700 to $900 mark, and that's going to come into my plans for my next PC flip, which I'm going to want y'all's input on. So definitely hang till the end and let me know what your thoughts are. Let's get on to the PC flips, because ultimately that's why you're here. Here is my most recent sale. This is a Ryzen 5 5600X with the Gigabyte Eagle OC 3060 Ti, an ASRock B550 motherboard, 32 gigabytes of Team Group RAM at 3600 megahertz, a 1 terabyte King Spec NVMe, a Pavia Prestige 800 watt power supply, Thermalright Assassin Spirit Evo 120, all in the SAMA AnyView 4361. The total cost for this build was $749.16, and I ended up selling it for $830 for a profit of $80.84. I know that's a little bit less than what I'd like it to be, but ultimately, I was trying to make a sale. I was trying to keep things moving. Things have been really rough lately in my area, and I really liked this guy. So when he kind of kept pushing me to come down on price a little bit, I was okay with it. He initially reached out to me because he wanted to play Fortnite and Warzone and wanted to know how the computer would do. Ultimately, we struck a deal. We ended up meeting in an area pharmacy parking lot. And after I sold it to him, I got the absolute uh, best review that I possibly could. He says, "Hey man, the computer's beautiful, and my friend is interested in the exact same build if you're able to do it." And ultimately, that's what you love to hear, that somebody likes the computer they got and they're excited to show it to somebody else, and that person wants one too. Now let's move on to this computer. A computer that was so good, I actually sold it twice. No, I did sell it twice, but not for a good reason ultimately. I did put it together as a commission build for a young lady. I talked about it in a previous episode. Long story short, we were having some Wi Fi connectivity issues at her place with the computer. She wanted it to run 3 trillion gigabytes per second to play League of Apex, Warcraft, or something like that. I couldn't make it work in her place. I took it home, tried to fix it. The Wi-Fi worked perfectly fine at my house. Ultimately, I could never figure out exactly why it wasn't working up to her specifications. So I decided I would buy it back from her at the exact same price that I sold it to her for. The good news is, once I brought it back home, retested it, it worked perfectly fine. So I listed it back up for sale after I wiped the storage drive, made sure she understood that's what I was going to do, and put it back up for sale. Now, because it was a commission build at first, I ended up quoting her a little bit too low of a price. So I was able to sell it for more money when I sold it the second time. Initially, I sold it to the first young lady for $700. And when I relisted it, I ended up selling it for $770. So here is the build. It's a Ryzen 5 3600 with an Asus B550 motherboard, 16 gigabytes of G-Skill RAM, a 1 terabyte Kingston hard drive, this beautiful Gigabyte 3060 OC Vision 12 gigabyte graphics card, 650 watt EVGA power supply, an ID cooling SE214, all in a Montech 903 Max white with white cable extensions. It was a really cool looking build, white and pink. It was actually two young ladies that actually sold it to both times, so it definitely appealed to them. My all-in cost was $592.18, and 770 sale price. My profit was $177.82. So very, very good sale for me. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, I'm definitely going to spend a little bit more time in a slightly higher price sales bracket for the PCs that I build. I've had a lot of fun building $500 to $700 builds. That has been the bulk of the sales that I've had. But from what I'm finding, there's a ridiculous amount of competition there. I've been getting a little bit frustrated trying to keep up with some of the choices and decisions that people are making and how they're putting their builds together. So while that is definitely by far the largest potential customer base, $500 to $700, I've also had really good success selling computers for north of $700 in the $700 to $900 price bracket. There may be fewer customers looking for a PC at that price, but I've also found the people in that area to be more appreciative of the extra work and effort that goes into the aesthetics and the look of the build and the extra quality that I'm bringing as a PC builder. And with that, that brings us to the part of this video where I'm going to be asking for your feedback. I thought it might be fun to do kind of a head-to-head build for this next set of PC flips that I'm going to do. And here's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking doing an all AMD build with an AMD CPU and an AMD GPU, and then an Intel NVIDIA build with an Intel CPU and an NVIDIA graphics card that roughly have the same budget. I'll test them out, build them. We'll see which one looks better. We'll see which one performs better, and ultimately see which one sells better, which is what is the most important. So, what I want to hear from you guys: what potential parts budget should I be shooting for? I'm thinking $650 to get me in that higher end, or I guess higher end of the spectrum as far as where I've been. But I want to hear from you. Tell me what you guys think. How much should I spend on each build? I also want to make sure that I use the same case, the same power supply, the same storage drive, and the same RAM. Maybe not the exact same RAM sticks, but the same specs of RAM, so that really the only true differences are CPU and GPU, at least as best as I can, as close as I can get. So definitely let me know what your guys' thoughts are on budget. What case should I use? Should I use a white case, a black case, a traditional style case, a fish tank tile case? What do you guys want to see? But I'm definitely going to do cable extensions. I'm going to do RGB lights. I'm going to do very clean looking builds. Those are, of course, going to be necessities in these builds. I really appreciate everybody who's tuned into my videos, who's given me support, and even the folks that have given me criticism. Believe me, I've learned from all of it. I'm really enjoying this YouTube journey. My posting schedule is going to slow down a little bit over the summer. I'll be spending a lot of my free time with my kids as they're home from school. Definitely less time for PC building, definitely less time for YouTube. So please be patient with me. But we're closing in on 500 subscribers. I'm really excited about that. So thanks again.
Yay!
Please, on this video, leave a comment. Let me know what I should do on this next build with the Intel and AMD challenge. Give me some thoughts. And I might put out a community post to allow real easy just to measure votes. Next, I want to give another shout out to another YouTuber who I have really enjoyed watching, and he's doing a very good job. I don't know him. I've never spoken to him, but definitely check out his channel. I'll link it below. His name is JackPCBuilds. He's a young guy doing PC flipping. He does a great job with his videos. They're really, really good. They're really entertaining. Definitely go give him a subscribe as well. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your engagement. I'm excited to cross 500 subscribers and then on to the next goal of 1,000. Thanks for watching.